Hi, this is Maritza from Maritza Concepcion Intuitive Consultants. I am a psychic life coach. The following is a video from my live show from an anonymous caller. Please like, share, and subscribe.
What's your initials and state?
North Carolina LT.
Okay. And what is your question?
What?
Okay, give me just a second here. What's your future of your love life? Okay. And you said your initials are L?
Yes, LT.
LP. Okay. Give me a second here. I'm just cleaning up my cards here. Just a second. What's the future of your love life? Let's see. I see it hasn't always been easy for you, huh?
No.
Okay. We all have challenges, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. Okay. Okay, L from Charlotte. I do see that you're involved with someone at the moment, but you're not feeling like he's 100% in it. Am I right? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. I feel that you're bonded to this person. Like, I almost kind of see chains. Like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm committed to this. You know, I have these chains I can't break. Though I know I might have to move forward. I do see that there's more than one person involved in this whole relationship thing with you and the current boyfriend. Okay. Now it's your current. Okay, so you said the future of it. I do see a lot more romance and love and affection and things like that. But there's always this lingering feeling that there's someone there, right? There's someone else involved. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's almost like he's in the middle and he wants to juggle both of you guys. You know, I think it was a long-term relationship that you have, right?
Yes.
Okay. I do see when it's good is good. And when it's not so good, you're not feeling it, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay, so you're going to have a little bit more of that. I see a little bit more of, you know, the happiness and also the not so sure about keeping it, and you just go back and forth in your brain. It's almost like your intuition kicks in and you're like, okay, there's something going off here. There's something that's not quite moving the direction that I want it to in this relationship. I almost kind of feel like I'm giving more than what I'm getting. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I do see more of that coming for you in this relationship. At one point or another, you definitely have to make a decision of whether you want to keep it 100% or you just, you know, let me back up a little bit, because it's kind of like I see that you're making a decision, but you don't make 100% decision. Does that make sense? So you kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with this situation. So you're gonna spend some good times. You're gonna spend some not so good time because of that lingering question in your mind. That's the only thing that I see that's like really not so great in the relationship, but it's good when it's good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you want more feedback? Did you want to get into a little bit more about it, or did that?
Well, yeah, no. I'm wondering if it's even worth it to move forward, or if there's anyone else in my future for my love life.
If you move on?
Yes.
If it's
100% on.
You know, that's a tricky question because okay, so you've been with this person for so long, and it's almost like you don't want to give it up. because you work so hard for it, right? Because when it's good, like I mentioned. So that so far makes sense to you, right?
Yeah.
But there's always that lingering thought in your mind, like, is he 100%? Right? Some of the times he is, some of the times he isn't. So if you want to move forward, that's going to be a long, hard road for you because you're so emotionally involved in it. Does that make sense? And you love hard, and you're like, okay, this is going to be it. This is going to, I don't want to play games. I don't want to continue to do that, right? But
Yeah.
I do see the opportunity of you. Were you guys planning on getting married?
I mean, the idea was already always there, but nothing, no proposal or anything.
Okay. So, and were you planning to move to a house or rent something together?
We were already renting something.
Okay, so you are together. Okay. So, I almost feel like that was his steps of moving forward. You know, like, okay, we moved in together, and then I want to marry her, right? But it's almost like he goes back and forth with this idea. It's almost like it either is or it isn't. It's almost like his relationship with you, when you feel like he's 100% there and then 50% there at some other time, then he goes 100% with the idea and then 50% on the idea. Does that make sense? So he has to make the ultimate decision. He has to make it. But he keeps going back and forth with himself, okay? So if you want a long-term relationship with this person, it is possible. However, you asked me if you should go forward on a different relationship. That's also possible. Does that make sense? It's kind of like right now is not the time to make the decision whether you should leave him 100% or go out and start meeting other people, because number one, you're involved. Number two, you're emotionally involved, and you're living together. So obviously you want this as a long-term relationship, right? So what you have to do is, if you want to keep it, have this open dialogue with him and say, hey, you know what? Are we in this to 100%, or are we to live together and still have some kind of arrangement? Does that make sense? So this dialogue has to take place, because it's not here nor there. I keep seeing both of you guys going back and forth with this whole idea. Though you still live together, and that's a commitment in itself. But again, you guys got to make decisions, because you are 100%, and then sometimes you're not as well. Does that make sense? It's kind of like you guys are looking like in the mirror, because sometimes he's 100%. You're 50%, then you're 100%, then he's 50%. Does that make sense? So, yeah, you guys have to have this conversation, because it could be good, because what is good is good. So, you already moved in. So, I think that his process is like moving up, next thing. Okay? The obvious next decision is, when am I going to really marry her and have children, right? That's going to be the next step. But before that can happen, I need you to have this conversation with him. Okay? You have got to have that conversation, because you can't go on. The reason why you called in is because you're not really sure where this relationship is going, and you're just confused, right? Because you're living with him and it's 100%, 50%, 50%, 100%. So I need you to have that conversation with him. Like, you guys gotta have a powwow. For sure. If you want to keep this, and you're 100% sure that this is what you want, and he's 100%, then you guys got to work on it. You guys got to definitely work on the issues that you have, and the issues that he has.
That makes sense. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for calling.
Thanks for watching. If you're interested in a private consultation, you can contact me on any social media links in the description box.